over 1,000 days ago. That's how long it's been since the AirPods Pro were originally released. You may be asking yourself whether you should continue to go ahead and wait for the new one, or whether the current model, Apple tax and all, is still worth it. In this video, we'll do a quick review of the current AirPods Pro in the current market and see how they stack up against what's available from other makers as of August 2022. I'll also talk about what it's been like to live with them, where they're still good compared to others in the market, and where the industry may have just left them in the dust. And if you're watching after the new AirPods Pro 2 or whatever their name happens to be have been released, you can use this to compare, since Apple will probably keep the first gen AirPods Pro in the lineup. In the US, Apple sells the AirPods Pro for $249. A number of retailers regularly have these for $219, and they regularly go on special for about $179. As you think to yourself whether they're worth it, keep those price points in mind. If this is your first time seeing me, welcome. My name is Norb, and if you happen to like what you see, feel free to go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up if you find this useful or enjoyable. It's how YouTube knows that I exist. Anyway, let's get down to business. I'll talk about features first, since that's what drives pretty much everything with these. I do break them out into both sound and interaction design, but this is a better place than most to begin. MagSafe charging case, in-ear detection, active noise cancellation, transparency mode, Find My integration. At this price right now, none of those are terribly special. Don't get me wrong, they're good, and I'll go through each of those to see how well implementation has held up. For example, the case. Most high-end earbuds have wireless charging cases these days. What makes the AirPods Pro special, though, is its pocketability and battery life. If you look at models like the Bose Quiet Comfort earbuds or the Sony WF-1000XM4, you'll notice that the cases are pretty big. I mean, the Bose case is luggage. It's luggage. Meanwhile, the AirPods Pro have a case that feels solid without being overt, has wireless charging, plus an extra 24 hours of battery life. Sure, if you're not using wireless, you have to deal with the whole lightning cable, so if that's an issue, then it's worth keeping in mind. In-ear detection is in-ear detection. It just works. No errors, no issues, which is what I've come to expect. In fact, I get annoyed when other earbuds don't work flawlessly. Active noise cancellation is also a commonplace feature, and while it's great on the AirPods Pro, other devices like the Bose Quiet Comfort earbuds and Sony WF-1000XM4 have caught up. Still, the AirPods Pro are fantastic at this, even 3 years later. Sure, the new version might be better, but if this is an important feature for you, you're still in fantastic hands. Replace the included silicone ear tips with a pair of foam ear tips, and you have a top-tier noise canceling and background blocking option. Transparency mode is something where I don't think the rest of the market has caught up to Apple. The transparency mode on the AirPods Pro is simply the best I've heard and sound absolutely natural. Unlike others I've compared these to, which have been good at times but still sound fake, robotic. Short of giving you bionic hearing, I don't know how Apple can do any better here. In fact, the transparency is so good that I actually feel safe using these during my bike rides. I don't like to cover my ears at all, especially shoving anything inside of them while I'm on my bike, so this is a huge compliment. And the Find My integration. I think Apple might have been the first to include this type of network finding functionality in earbuds. The only real competitor I've seen in wide use is Tile, which I don't think is anywhere nearly as good. With so many Apple devices in so many places, Find My has become ever present since it's integrated now into every Apple product. So no, this is somewhere I don't feel the industry has caught up yet at all. So when it comes to non-sound, non-interaction design features, the Apple AirPods Pro still offer top-tier value in the quality of life features that matter most. The next generation will probably improve on these, but the current generation, even 1,000 plus days since their original release, is still no slouch. By this time, pretty much everyone is familiar with how the AirPods Pro look, and most people also know whether they like the shape or not. If you've never tried them, you should, because that's highly individual. I think the shape is great. In fact, for me, they're the most comfortable earbuds that I own, and I don't think they've ever fallen out. My wife, on the other hand, doesn't find them comfortable at all and prefers her AirPods too. If you're looking for something to exercise with and you do a lot of moving around, then if you get these, you may want to consider an attachable around the ear, hook, or wing from a third-party maker. I'll link some in the description below just so you have a place to start. Of course, if you do lose one, a call to Apple and an extra $80 will get you a replacement, but who wants to do that? This is an area where the market offers a lot of options. Stems, hooks, buds, beans, donuts, you name it. Even Apple, I'm getting hungry, beans, donuts, apples. Even Apple with the Beats line offers options geared toward a more active lifestyle. So if that's what's holding you back, if the stem is just not something you like, then by all means, go try something else. There's plenty out there. Still, in the category of stem earbuds, I have yet to experience better, although I do tend to like the option of a wing for stability. The controls and interaction design are divided into two areas: what's on the earbuds and the software. On the earbuds, things are pretty simple. Squeeze the stem and stuff happens. Answer calls, play and pause music, skip tracks, switch between noise canceling and transparency, and even bring up Siri. I'm glad Apple went this direction instead of touch controls. I'm not a huge fan of touch controls on earbuds because they're activated by touch, which is the very action you use when you're trying to take them off or put it on. When it comes to the software, I've always found the way these work on the iPhone and the iPad to be simpler than with macOS devices. The problem is that it's not simple. Most of the options are hidden away in different menus throughout the system. They're too well integrated into the system. I really wish Apple had put their settings, or at least links to other settings, in one place on both the phone and the computer. Their support site has all this information, but without a manual included, most users won't even ask. They'll just assume that this is the only way these work. Now, there are other quality of life features that I love. Like with all Apple personal audio tech, once you pair these with your device and add them to your account, they're automatically added to all your other devices on your account. And if they're near a Mac or an Apple TV, you'll see a message asking you if you want to connect. I love that they've made this so simple.
Hey folks, Mid-Edit Norb here. Something I wasn't entirely clear on was the way the functionality works with the Apple TV. So when you have your AirPods Pro on, if you're connected to your phone and your tablet and your MacBook, then if you get a phone call while you're watching a movie on your iPad or MacBook, for example, the call will come through just fine. That's multi-device connection. But if you connect to your Apple TV, it automatically disconnects from those devices, meaning that, yeah, your audio will come through your AirPods from your television, but if you get a phone call, it's only going to come through the phone itself. It's not going to come in through the AirPods. So keep that in mind while using these. Back to the video.
Siri integration is also a feature I like, and I call it up all the time. It reads incoming text messages and important app messages, announces callers, and is voice activated. This is an area a lot of the market has caught up with, especially if you are on Android. Samsung and Google, for example, both have devices which give you a similar integration with a better overall engine. While this isn't likely to get better with the next AirPods Pro version, it's likely going to just get better over time. I spent all of this time talking about quality of life because that's really what makes the AirPods Pro so special. That's not to say that the sound isn't good, but realistically, if all you care about is how music sounds, then stuff like the AKG N400s or the Status Between Pro will give you a better sound for less money. That's not taking into consideration sound-related features like spatial audio and head tracking. Before I go on, let's talk about the sound itself. I know it's easy to hate on Apple because they're the behemoth, but realistically, the sound on the AirPods Pro is excellent. It's neutral and clear with a slight emphasis in the mids. They can handle some bass, but they struggle a bit with the thump and the rumble. And outside of either the Apple Music app or a third-party software, there's no way to really adjust the sound to your liking. Other earphones in the same category have this, and at least to me, that often makes a big difference in how I enjoy my audio. What makes the AirPods Pro special are features that were introduced later and some competitors already have solid versions of. Head tracking and spatial audio. These give audio from specific sources like Vudu, HBO Go, Netflix, Amazon, Prime Video, 3D-like sound. This also applies to Dolby Atmos tracks on Apple Music, but I know that I appreciate it way more when I'm watching movies, especially the head tracking. In fact, I remember being freaked out the first few times I used this because it sounded so spatial and clear that I thought I messed up and I was actually listening to the TV instead of the AirPods Pro. But all these features are specific to using the AirPods Pro with Apple devices. Yes, the head tracking hardware is in the AirPods themselves, but you need an Apple device casting the appropriate content to use it. Sony has something similar to this called Sony 360 Reality Audio, which you can use with the WFM1000XM3 and XM4. If you have Sony Bravia television, for example, or if you use services like Deezer or Tidal, you have the same features. The point in all this, however, is that yes, more than 1,000 days after initial release, the AirPods Pro still offer fantastic sound and a spectacular immersive listener experience for both music and video, with updates that have come through time. Finally, I'll touch on codecs. All Apple audio devices use the AAC and SBC Bluetooth audio codecs. As you may have learned if you watched my beginner's guide to Bluetooth codecs linked above my head and in the description below, AAC isn't just AAC. It's constantly being developed and improved, and Apple is at the forefront of this. So if you're using a device with AAC, your movies and games should have very little, if any, lag or latency. With SBC, you'll always get some latency, but that's not an Apple thing. And I doubt Apple will introduce any sort of aptX in their latest version, although they might introduce LC3, which is the next generation of SBC, and put the new Bluetooth Low Energy standard into play. Call quality on these is about as good as you can expect out of something without a boom mic. In fact, here's a test. All right, test one of the microphone. You can hear what it sounds like now. Testing, 1, 2, 3. I'm in a quiet environment. I'm just in my office. The camera's a little shaky because I'm actually holding it rather than putting it on a stand, which I should have done, but whatever. Here, you can hear what the voice sounds like. Now let's go ahead and go outside. All right, folks, and here I am outside, testing out the microphone. You can hear what it sounds like outside. There's a little bit of traffic all beside me, but not very much. The wind is kind of calm. I don't know if you can hear anything else, but testing, 1, 2, 3. Apple devices are famous for being good about battery life, and while these were decent back in 2019, now they certainly lag behind. These advertise 4.5 hours of playtime and 3.5 hours of talk time, with the case adding another 24 hours of listening time. So 5 or 6 charges. In my tests, after 7 months of regular use, I've been able to get 5 hours of playtime at 50% volume with active noise canceling on. This is better than advertised, yes, but when you have competitors like the Bose Quiet Comfort earbuds giving you 6 or 7 hours of battery and the Sony WF-1000XM4s giving you 8 or more hours, then you realize that this isn't really all that great. If you need long battery life for continuous use, you probably want to wait for the next version or check out somebody else. Go check out the competition. With all of this said, let's take a look at my use case. I'm the Apple guy in my circles. iPhone, iPad, MacBook, Apple TV. The only thing I'm missing is the Apple HomePod Mini. From a usability standpoint, for me, they've been revolutionary. I listen to music, audiobooks, and podcasts all the time. I watch YouTube videos and movies on a regular basis, and I'm never once put off by taking a call in these. I had other earbuds before these, notably the Jabra 75T and the Amazon Echo Buds 2. And usability-wise, at the time, only the Amazon Echo Buds came close to the user experience for me, although the features and sound weren't quite as nice. But the combination of pocketability, great sound, excellent noise reduction, and comfort have made my AirPods Pro my constant partner. No matter where I am, you can be sure that I probably have my AirPods Pro with me. So yes, to say I've liked these is an understatement. They are my favorite earbuds, and if I could only have one personal portable audio gear product, these would be it. Even with the shorter battery life, even with the lack of EQ. They're not the best at everything, but user experience is unparalleled. So are they still worth it? It depends. If you need something with great battery life, then there are far better options out there. If you're an Android user, then there are generally better options out there, especially from the integration front. They'll still sound good, and the microphones are second to none, but you'll get a better bang for the buck with something like the Sony WF-1000XM4s. But if you're an Apple user looking for possibly the best user experience still in the market, then yes, with solid features and a great sound, and if you need something right now that will last you for years, then absolutely, you will not regret these. Still, if you can hold out and wait for either the new version or to find them at a discount, you should, especially if you're watching this near some holiday sales. My guess is that you'll have a chance to compare the two side by side at an Apple store near you sometime soon enough. And what about you? Do you feel that the 1,000-day-old AirPods are still worth it? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want more, check out these videos right next to me, which YouTube has so kindly auto-selected for you.